Hello, everybody. I am Tyreek Johnson, and it's great to be in class with everybody. So today we are talking about why the concept of Western civilization is relevant today, which, in my opinion, is a bit of a loaded question for several reasons, many of which we'll kind of cover. We covered this in this week's readings, and I'll be talking about them in just a moment. But I'll start by answering the question: why is the concept of Western civilization important today? Well, simply put, Western civilization's importance is based on the fact that no matter how you define the boundaries and the participants in of the making of Western civilization, which, as we know, can be varied, Western civilization is responsible for developing the current concept and understanding of human rights as we know them. Human rights slash freedoms, which more accurately are defined as individual rights. It's basically the concept that we as humans are born with what we would say in American lexicon, inalienable rights that cannot be taken away by government and in fact should be protected by government. So as we read this week, this spins from several different places: language, religion, shared belief systems, different things like that. But Western civilization itself places a very high level of importance on this particular set of rights. So on that basis alone, it's relevant as an area of study because of the importance of the development and protection of those freedoms that many places in the world today enjoy and hold as important. Now, of course, there are several issues with Western civilization that have to be addressed anytime we're talking about it because of the significance and the significant resistance itself to the concept. The idea basically that Western civilization has come to represent a group of sexist, racist ideas that support slavery and colonialism is one of those concepts that is absolutely true. We cannot sit here and pretend like that's not a thing. It's as true as it is that Western civilization is the foundation for the individual rights. So denying the truth of that would be to deny history. However, there's no way to deny that in fact both are true. It is both the foundation of those where we come with the idea of those rights, and well, it's a place where they denied those rights. The fact that I think part of the focus should be the fact that the individual rights persisted in the West and eventually expanded from the very narrow definition that we start with to include more and more groups as time went on and become much more inclusive is pretty much makes the concept all the more remarkable. And it highlights the ideas of freedoms by contrasting them with the restrictions that were placed on different groups at different times within Western civilization. I think another part of the problem is that we have the tendency to put labels of good and bad on the subject. For instance, when speaking of China, we in the US point out they have a lack of human rights, which we look on as a bad thing. But if you look in the book Legal Intorialism by Timu Ruskola, who is a professor of law at Emory Law, he discussed the idea that in the United States, law is based on the idea of rights and freedoms, which are culturally important to our civilization. Whereas in China, law is based on duties and obligations, which is culturally important for them. So the difference is that in the US, the smallest recognized unit has always been the individual, whereas in China, the smallest recognized unit has always been the group, the family. The group was more important. And highlighting differences like that without assigning good and bad, right and wrong, would makes Western civilization and how we discuss it and show how those freedoms evolved more relevant and takes away some of the inherent what people like to call racist kind of ideals. So I think the question isn't about relevance, as Western civilization is clearly as relevant today as it has been in the past. I think the question is, how do we define and teach Western civilization in a way that explains both the positives and negatives? Thank you so much for your time.